Have you ever stepped into your own living room and felt a slight hesitation before crossing the floor, as though something invisible might cause you to lose your balance? It often sneaks up on you. Small changes in how you walk, stand, or hold onto furniture that you never had to worry about in younger years. Yet after turning 70, falls at home become alarmingly common, and sometimes the reasons aren't the ones you'd expect. Many seniors assume that if they're careful, they'll be fine, or that a cane or walker is enough protection. But doctors and geriatric experts keep pointing to 5 hidden risks lurking in many households that quietly set the stage for a tumble. These risks often go overlooked until it's too late. A misstep in the middle of the night? A quick pivot on the way to answer the phone? Or simply leaning the wrong way while reaching up for a cup in the cabinet? By understanding these overlooked hazards and making modest changes, you can keep your independence and peace of mind, rather than facing weeks of recovery or the fear that a single fall might upend your entire routine. In this conversation, we'll explore what those risks really are, why they're so easy to ignore, and how to outsmart them before they catch you off guard. It starts innocently. You adjust to your body's changes by making small compromises. Maybe your knees ache a bit more, so you shuffle instead of taking full steps. Or you rely on a piece of furniture for balance when reaching for something. Over months or years, these micro-adjustments can erode your natural sense of stability. The first hidden risk is the gradual loss of foot strength and flexibility. Something seniors rarely focus on because the changes are quiet and painless at first. For decades, your feet have carried you without complaint, so you barely think about them. But after 70, arches may flatten, toes might stiffen, and overall muscle tone in the foot can diminish. The result is a less stable base of support, especially when you pivot or step onto uneven surfaces. You might find that the thick plush carpet you loved for comfort now feels a bit harder to navigate, or that stepping from hardwood onto a rug edge throws off your balance. Over time, even a slight difference in floor texture can lead to stumbles if your feet aren't gripping or adjusting well. The easy fix, you'd think, is supportive shoes. But many seniors relax their footwear at home, going barefoot or wearing old slippers that have worn down soles. These choices can exaggerate the problem by providing zero arch support or traction, so the moment you step onto a polished tile floor, you might experience a subtle slip. That's enough to topple you. One minute you're heading to the kitchen, the next you're on the ground, rattled and possibly injured. The alarming part is that you can live with weakening feet for years without a single fall, until the day it catches you. That's why foot exercises or wearing supportive footwear indoors can be so transformative. A few minutes of daily toe curls, heel raises, or simply wearing stable house shoes with proper soles might rescue you from the chain reaction that leads to an accident. A second overlooked hazard emerges from our desire to keep everything within arm's reach. As you age, convenience matters more. You don't want to walk across the room repeatedly just to find your reading glasses or your phone. So you place items on side tables, stack them on chairs, or store them in corners where you can grab them quickly. Eventually, your space turns into a labyrinth of objects. The problem is that these objects become easy to trip over, especially if they end up on the floor or in the usual walking path. You might have a lamp cord stretching across the carpet or a cluster of magazines next to the couch in case you want something to read. In your mind, these arrangements are harmless. You know exactly where things are. But if you get up at night in low light, or if a telephone rings suddenly and you rush to pick up, your foot can catch on the rug's edge or on that slightly upturned magazine corner. The body's reaction time after 70 isn't what it was decades ago, so a minor slip can become a full-fledged fall before you can correct yourself. Compounding this hazard is that many seniors resist rearranging or decluttering. Some items hold emotional value, and there's a sense that you might need them at a moment's notice. While it's understandable, it's wise to realize that a single ill-placed box or stool can lead to a fractured hip that sidelines you for weeks. Gradual reorganizing, maybe assigning a safe, out-of-the-way spot for items you use rarely and keeping daily necessities on higher shelves so you aren't bending down, can make a remarkable difference in how freely you can move without risking a trip. It's not about throwing away cherished things, but about acknowledging that the environment you navigated well at 50 might pose hidden traps at 75. Another subtle risk is posture and gait decline, a shift that often slips under the radar. Age changes in spine alignment, muscle mass, and even vision all converge to alter how you stand and walk. Perhaps you tilt your head downward more frequently to watch your step, or you hunch your shoulders forward because of back stiffness. With these adjustments, your center of gravity shifts. This is crucial because if your center of gravity moves too far forward, a small push or unexpected movement can topple you forward. If it moves too far to one side, the same logic applies. Meanwhile, your eyesight might narrow or dim, especially in low light, making it harder to gauge the depth of steps or the boundaries of rugs. If you've also lost some ability to turn your head or your neck is perpetually stiff, checking your surroundings requires more effort, which can lead to you missing a hazard on the floor. One moment you're walking through the hallway, the next your foot hits a slightly raised floorboard, and your forward-leaning posture makes it impossible to recover. There you are, falling before you even register what's happening. Physical therapists sometimes notice that seniors unconsciously walk with smaller, shuffling steps to maintain a sense of stability. But that shuffle can become its own liability if something abrupt forces a longer stride. In essence, your body might be compensating for weaker muscles or reduced flexibility in ways that keep you moving but hamper your ability to react dynamically. The fix often involves gentle posture and balance exercises. You might do 5-minute sessions leaning against a wall to practice standing straight, or do mild core strengthening to keep your torso upright. Over time, these little routines can anchor your balance and help restore the reflexes needed for any unexpected movement, a phone ring, a knock at the door, or a slight trip. The challenge is recognizing that posture decline isn't just about how you look. It's about how well you can prevent a misstep from becoming a fall. A fourth hidden danger is medication side effects or interactions that cause dizziness, drowsiness, or drops in blood pressure. By the time you're 70, you might be on more prescriptions than you'd like: blood pressure pills, cholesterol meds, pain relievers, maybe something for anxiety or sleep. Each drug can influence your coordination or alertness in small but meaningful ways. If a particular pill lowers your blood pressure too aggressively, standing up quickly from a chair could trigger a moment of lightheadedness. That second of disorientation is enough to lose your footing. Or if you take a sleep aid at night, you might find yourself groggy if you awaken to use the bathroom, significantly raising the risk that you'll sway into a wall or lose track of where you are. Even seemingly harmless over-the-counter options, like antihistamines for allergies, can cause sedation or blurred vision. Many seniors trust that their doctor or pharmacist has considered all interactions. But in reality, side effects might intensify as your metabolism changes with age. The more meds you stack, the greater the possibility of synergy that your physician didn't fully predict. If you're living alone or even with a spouse who's also older, you might not realize how compromised your reactions have become until you notice you're stumbling more or weaving slightly. One important step is to regularly review all your meds with a healthcare provider. Ask about side effects related to balance or alertness. See if any dosages can be adjusted, or whether a different timing of doses could reduce nighttime risk. Additionally, adopting habits like pausing when you stand, giving yourself a moment to steady, can help offset the sudden drop in blood pressure. A simple tactic is to sit at the edge of the bed, take a few slow breaths, maybe wiggle your toes, before rising. It might feel like a small chore, but it's far better than dealing with a bruised hip from an unnecessary spill. The final hidden risk involves complacency about home modifications. Many older adults put off installing handrails in the bathroom, adding grab bars near the shower, or improving stair railings until after they've had a scare or an actual injury. It's natural to resist these changes because you might associate them with loss of independence or feel they make your home look too old. But the absence of such aids can be the difference between a slight slip you can correct and a full-blown fall that lands you in the hospital. Bathrooms in particular stand out as danger zones. Wet surfaces, smooth tiles, and the need to step over the bathtub edge or pivot in a small space. If you lose even a fraction of your balance, there's often nowhere soft to land. Similarly, if your staircase is missing a second handrail, or if the existing one is loose from years of use, it might not offer the reliable support you need during a sudden misstep. Another overlooked spot is your outdoor entryway. A simple ramp or an extra handrail, well lit with motion sensor lights, can greatly reduce the risk of falling on a stoop or step. The irony is that many seniors do less to secure their homes as they get older than they do for their vehicles. They might pay for advanced car safety features, but ignore the precarious loose step in front of their own porch. The result is that your house, which should be your safe haven, hides hazards that your younger self could handle, but your current self struggles with. Updating these aspects doesn't have to be exorbitantly expensive, and there are often local programs or volunteer groups that help seniors with minor home modifications. The key is to see these additions not as an admission of weakness, but as a reasonable adaptation, the same way wearing reading glasses is a logical adaptation for weaker eyesight. If you're recognizing any of these 5 silent threats, foot weakness, cluttered convenience, posture decline, medication side effects, or reluctance to update your environment, consider taking proactive steps. Maybe start with a thorough fall risk tour of your home. Go room by room, looking at the floor for cords, loose rugs, random objects that might block your path. Check if lighting is sufficient, especially in hallways and near stairs. Assess your bathroom. Are there non-slip mats, grab bars, and possibly a shower seat if needed? Evaluate your footwear. Do your slippers have worn-down soles that slip easily on tile? Then, reflect on your posture and daily routines. If you find you're leaning forward more or breathing heavily just to move from room to room, mild exercises guided by a physical therapist or a gentle fitness program for seniors could be invaluable. Talk to your doctor about reviewing your medications, particularly if you've noticed sudden dizziness, blurred vision, or confusion after taking them. These changes might seem small individually, but can collectively fortify your defenses against the moment life catches you off guard. Some seniors worry that focusing too much on preventing falls will limit their freedom. They might say, "If I get so cautious, I won't enjoy living." In reality, preventing falls can keep you living more freely for longer, because one serious fall can lead to a lengthy hospital stay, rehab, or the dreaded possibility that you can no longer remain at home. Taking precautions is the lesser trade-off. It's not about restricting yourself, but about ensuring you have the sure footing to do the things you love without the looming fear of a tumble. You're not giving up independence, you're investing in it. Even small modifications like practicing simple balance exercises each morning or rearranging a few bulky items in the living room might give you renewed confidence to move around without apprehension. It also helps to talk about it with family or trusted friends. If you're worried about your sense of balance or noticing small near falls, be open about it. Family members might assist with a more thorough home safety update, or they could help you hire a handyman for tasks you can't handle. They can also keep an eye on your medication side effects and encourage you to see your doctor for adjustments. Hiding these issues because you don't want to worry anyone sometimes leads to more problems in the long run. A frank discussion can yield workable solutions. Maybe you arrange for grocery delivery, or someone helps vacuum to clear small debris that might cause slips. Remember that your well-being is just as important as your independence, and those who care about you generally want to help in ways that respect your autonomy rather than overstep it. In the end, if you're over 70 and living in a place you call your own, these 5 hidden risks, foot weakness, clutter, posture changes, medication side effects, and neglected home modifications, don't announce themselves loudly. They're subtle changes that accumulate and set up the perfect scenario for a fall. Recognizing them now, before the worst happens, is an act of self-preservation and wisdom. A comfortable, safe home doesn't just happen by accident. It takes awareness and a willingness to adapt. By addressing these hazards, you can walk through your space with the same ease and confidence you once had, or at least as close to it as possible. And if you do slip or trip a bit, the measures you've put in place, like a sturdier handrail, better footwear, or a decluttered path, can often catch you before you fall too far. That small difference can preserve your quality of life in ways you may never fully appreciate because you'll be too busy enjoying your day rather than recovering from an injury. So take a moment to look around and reflect on the deeper state of your living environment. If you see a well-worn path on the carpet surrounded by items placed conveniently close by, if your feet feel weak whenever you rise from a chair, If you sometimes get dizzy from your meds but haven't asked your doctor about it, or if your bathroom still looks the same as it did 20 years ago despite your changing needs, you have the perfect opportunity to make small but mighty changes. It's not about living in fear, it's about living with readiness, so that the independence you cherish doesn't slip away in a sudden crash to the floor. With a bit of vigilance, a willingness to reorganize and equip your home, and an eye on your bodily changes, you can outsmart the hidden risks that cause most seniors over 70 to fall at home. Let that be your empowering take on aging. Identifying hazards early and fixing them means you've chosen to write your own story rather than leaving it up to chance or a single treacherous misstep.